evaluating the collie head, the first thing you look at is eye placement because there's so many virtues on the head that make up the eye placement. You want the nice, beautiful raised eyebrow, slight stop, flat skull, and a rounded muzzle. So there's so many virtues that make up a perfect collie expression. And that's why it's so important. So basically, if the head is incorrect, your eye placement will be incorrect. They work hand in hand. So as you go over to the dog, I like to look down from the top above the dog and look down on the head from the black nose to the ears. So I slide my hand back around the muzzle. It's nice and smooth, and it has nice, clean, flat cheeks. It should not be any protruding bone. It should be flat and smooth. As you look down on the head here, you can see the beautiful, well-blunted wedge, the flat skull. You can feel it with your thumbs. Nice and filled in. It's flat on the sides and flat on top over the frontal bone. Now, looking at the face head on, I like to hold the dog in the palm of my hand and evaluate where the eyes are placed. They're around some muzzle. You want a nice, well-blunted wedge. You want a nice, well-blunted finish. You want a rounded muzzle, not square, but rounded, and beautifully finished underjaw. This dog happens to have a beautiful underjaw, as you can see here. I like to have a nice lip line. It's parallel to the top of the muzzle. He actually has this. You want to measure depth from the brow to the bottom jaw. It's not excessive. You can see how beautiful light he is up, going up the head, and also on profile. Very light and clean hip line, clean cheeks, very clean cut. The planes are relatively close together to have a nice slight stop. The midpoint on a collie head is the inside corner of the eye. That's also where a stop is placed, the midpoint. So again, you want a smooth muzzle to marry into a nice, clean head with nice, flat, clean sides, clean cheeks, flat bone, going back to the ear.
Okay, let's review. Collie head attributes. The collie head should be inclined to lightness. Expression is the hallmark characteristic of this breed. Expression should be evaluated first. The raised eyebrow, slight stop, flat skull, and rounded muzzle are the virtues that make up a correct collie expression. If the head is incorrect, the eye placement will be incorrect. Looking down from the top, from ears to black nose. Smooth rounded muzzle. Clean flat cheeks. No protruding bone on sides of head. Head is a clean, well-blunted wedge. Back skull flat on sides, and on top over the frontal bone. Evaluating the head. Placement of the eyes. Rounded muzzle, not square. Beautifully finished underjaw. Good lip line parallel to top of muzzle. Measure depth from brow to bottom jaw. There should be no excessive depth. Head should be light going up the head and in profile very clean cut. The stop. The midpoint on the head is the center of the corner of the eye. The top of the back skull and the top of the muzzle lie in two parallel straight planes, which are placed necessarily close together. Without this, a slight stop cannot be achieved. Note: when viewing the almond-shaped eye from the side, the inside corner should always point to the black nose. Eye and expression. The collie should have a rounded muzzle that seamlessly blends into the skull without extending beyond the inner corners of the eyes. When this does not occur, it causes the eyes to spread outward, giving the collie a lackluster, common expression. This is not desirable. The foreface should be chiseled to cradle the eyes. allowing for a closer set and the desired intelligent, inquisitive expression. Proper evaluation of a collie requires careful assessment of its expression. Hallmark of the breed: expression. The Collie Standard states, expression is the most important point in considering the relative value of collies. The collie cannot be judged properly until its expression has been carefully evaluated. Eye faults are heavily penalized. What is perfection in collie expression? A medium almond-shaped dark eye, which is harmoniously balanced and in scale with the width and length of the head. The eyes are obliquely set, placed, in the skull to give them the required forward outlook. 10 and 2 on the clock theory. Eye color. Eyes should be dark in color except in the blue merle, where either eye may be merle or china in color without specific penalty. Eyes should be sweet and soft. Eyes should be soulful and loving, which draws you in. Eyes should be clear and bright with no visible haws. Eyes should express an intelligent, inquisitive look. What makes up correct collie expression? In general, it is a combination of the shape of the eye and the balance of the skull and muzzle. Eye placement, how it is positioned in the skull. Eye size, medium. Eye shape, almond. Eye color, dark. Eye position, 10 and 2 on the clock. Size and carriage of the ears. This shows a correct placement when the ears are drawn up on the head. They should not be so tight that they almost touch. This look is unnatural, manufactured, and foreign, and throws off the true balance of expression. When envisioning an imaginary line that begins at the inner base of the ear, gently descends to touch the inner corners of the eyes, and continues to the outer edge of the nose's black tip, it reveals a harmonious alignment. This subtle path illustrates the natural balance between the head, eyes, and ears, contributing to a pleasing overall expression. Key point: the expression in the eye should never appear harsh, foreign, or severe, and/or appear light in color, or have a yellow ring in it. This concludes our presentation on evaluating the collie head. Thank you for your participation in this Collie Club of America Judges Education Seminar.